Yo, what's up everyone? Back for this Friday slate. We have a nice 14-game slate for today, so let's get right into it. You can drop a like and subscribe down below. I will also have a FanDuel video out. I'll probably post that in the morning, but we'll go over DraftKings for now. Starting off at pitcher, there are a few top pitchers at the top with Verlander, Ryu, Corbin. Those three, the matchups are not super soft except for Ryu, but 11,000 facing Marlins team with a lot of righties. I think he can have a good game, but it's also not like he's going 100 plus pitches every outing. And at 11,000, we're not getting much of a discount. We do have some incredible bats to spend up on this slate, so I think going cheap at pitching is definitely an interesting strategy, and I think that's where I'm kind of at as of now. I really like some high-priced bats like the Yankees, the Angels, the Red Sox a little bit, and the Indians. They all stick out. They all have incredible matchups. And we do have a few really good cheap pitchers that we can exploit. I'm going to go back to Tehran. I kind of explained why I liked him yesterday, but his start got pushed back to today. So at only 6,400, his price tag hasn't moved at all, which I like. He does go pretty deep into games. He's just a well above average pitcher, and he's at a way below average price tag. He was over 8,000. He's over 9,000. He was over 10. He was 10-8 against the Pirates just in the beginning of June, and his price tag is now all the way down to 6,400. He seems way too cheap. If you look at his home road splits, he's been a lot better in Atlanta, and this Nationals team is pretty good, but it's not like they're going to score a bunch of runs every outing. And Tehran has been decent against them in his career and over this season. At 6,400, he has too much talent and too much upside to be at this price tag. You could easily go 4 or 5x. And second pitcher I like is also right there in that range. I think there's just so many good options you can look at. Like, I don't really mind J.A. Happ against the Rockies outside of Coors. I think Tyler Mahley's a good option. Maybe you can take a chance on a guy like Jordan Lyles. But I do like Tyler Mahley here. He's only 6,000. Really, really cheap. Another guy that's price tag is too cheap. He was 87. He was over 7,000 for a lot of the season. His average price tag was almost 7,500. We're getting a huge discount. It looks like he's in a bounce back spot here after he got absolutely destroyed in Coors. That bumped his ERA up big time. But besides that, he's been really good against righty-heavy teams, and he's been pretty good at home this season as well. The Cardinals have more righties than lefties in the lineup, and against righties this season, he's been really, really good. And the lefties that the Cardinals have are not the guys that you're super scared of, like Colton Wong, Fowler. Edmonds decent, batting leadoff probably, but they're still not a very great offense. I think Tyler Mahley can have some success. He's actually been better at home in Great American Ballpark this season, a 3.62 ERA at home. ERA on the road is almost 2 runs higher, and he's just been lights out against righties, which he should get to face a majority of. 2.77 xFIP and almost a 30% K rate, 29.2. I like the price tag a ton, and I like the upside. So going with 2 cheap pitchers that allows you to spend up for literally any bats you want, and there are quite a bit of high-priced bats that I can see myself playing today. So let's get it started. I think at third base, I'm going to go with Jose Ramirez. I like the Indian stack a lot. My top 3 are going to be the Angels, Indians, and probably the Yankees. Jose Ramirez he's finally back to himself. I guess you can say that he's finally back to himself. It took him over half the season, but it looks like he's returning to his 2017 form. He's really crushed the ball the last couple weeks. Over his last 10 or 15 games, he's batting really, really well. This season, he's been good against lefties, and he's going to get to face a really bad lefty here. 2.69 average against lefties, a couple home runs. Just looking at his recent production, he's still at a very good price tag. So far in July, he has 16 hits and 48 at-bats, batting .348 in 11 games in July with 3 home runs after hitting only 1 home run all of June. And he's just really hot. In baseball, you want to ride the hot streaks, and not only with Ramirez, you're getting a really hot player. You also get a guy that can really steal any bag on the base path. He has 20 stolen bases on the season. And the Indians could do a ton of damage here against Montgomery and that terrible KC bullpen. So I like him a lot. I also love his teammate at shortstop, Lindor. Lindor is just $5,100. He's really, really good against left-handed pitching, and he's going to face a very bad lefty here. If you look at the numbers for Lindor, he has been pretty good against lefties. Only a 247 average, but he has a couple home runs. It's only a 97 at-bat sample size. Decent slugging percentage, only a 12% strikeout rate. But career-wise, he's been much better against lefties than righties. If you look at his career numbers, they are really good against lefties. 306 average. The ISO 190, slugging 496. And 2018 last season, he batted 343 against lefties and an 88 game sample size. So he can definitely hit lefties. And it's not like he's going to get a face Montgomery the whole game. He's going to get a face probably a few righties out of the bullpen. He just has a lot of power, and just like Ramirez, has a lot of speed. And I think he can have a great game here at home with the Indians having such a high total. So he's the guy that I kind of want at shortstop. In the outfield, I'd really, really want Mike Trout. $5,800 for Trout. I love the Angels today. Exactly a week ago, they faced Leak, and that's when stacked them up and they went off for that FanDuel win. I think I'm kind of going at that same place today. I don't think a ton of people will be on the Angels just because we have the Red Sox bats, we have the Yankees bats, we have the Indians bats. I think the Angels might go a little overlooked. But if you look at their BVP against Mike Leake, they all destroy him. And Trout leads the way. He absolutely crushes the ball against Leake. Just doesn't get strikeouts, gives up a ton of hard hits, and gives up a lot of fly balls. The Angels are a very, very powerful offense. Now that Upton's healthy, you have Trout, Ohtani, Upton hitting right in the heart of the lineup. That is a nightmare. All three guys have a decent chance to home run today. I think Trout has probably a really, really good chance to go yard. This season, Trout has been really good against righties. 324 average, 24 of his 30 home runs have come against righties. 394 ISO. And if you look at the numbers for Mike Leake, they are not good at all. He's never really had any success against these Angels hitters that he's facing. So I think a stack is very warranted. This season, he's given up a 546 slugging to righties, 478 to lefties, xFIP 5.24 to righties, giving up a 43% fly ball rate and a 42% hard hit rate. The Angels should be able to do some damage off of him, and a guy like Trout seems like a no-brainer. And last but not least, I like Aaron Judge. All these great hitters we have in the lineup, and we still have over 4,200 left to fill it out. You got to like that. You also got to love the matchup for the Yankees here, facing Kyle Freeland, who is just not been good at all this season, giving up a ton of power to righties. Not been able to strike many guys out. Judge is on a hot streak, batting over 300 now on the season. Look at his numbers. We know he's really, really good at home in Yankee Stadium. He's been that way since he's come into the league. This season against lefties, he's batting 371. It's only a 35 at-bat sample size, but he has 3 home runs during that stretch. 286 ISO, 657 slugging percentage. And he continues to crush the ball in Yankee Stadium with a 345 average. And career-wise, at home, he's been so good. 326 average, almost 100 points higher against, playing in Yankee Stadium than on the road. The way he's hitting the ball, I think, he has a great chance to have a few hits, decent chance to go yard, and just, have a great chance to put up a huge score today. So I like those 4 hitters a lot, paired with a couple cheap pitchers to allow you to, get safety at pitcher. Not safety, but allows you to get some upside. Both Tyler Mahle and Teheran have 20-point upside, and the hitters have monstrous upside today. So that's kind of where I'm at. Talk about some of the other teams I like to stack. I think the Yankees are a really good stack. All the righties is where I'm looking at. So Judge, I like Hicks. I like Torres. I like LeMahieu. and then Voit, Encarnacion. And now it's tough because they both play the same position, but Voigt's a little cheaper if you want to go there, but Encarnacion has a little more power. And Sanchez is really, really good option at catcher today. It's going to be tough not to have him in your cash games. That's catcher. The Red Sox, I think, will be a little interesting against John Means. They might get a little over-owned just because of how Means pitched his last outing. But I'm kind of interested in only a few pieces, like JD Martinez, given his incredible numbers against left-handed pitching. I like him a lot. It's going to be tough to get up to 5,700 for Bogarts, 5,400 for Devers, even 4,700 for Chavez. So really, I'm interested in JD and a little bit of Betts. Here, I think the Pirates are a very sneaky stack. I don't think that many people will play the Pirates. I have a lot of interest in the lefties. Dickerson is cheap at 38. Reynolds. They have a lot of switch hitters and lefties, which could make life very difficult for Arrieta, given his terrible numbers against lefties this season. I like those two a lot. Colin Moran's cheap at third base. Frazier. Josh Bell. Lots of lefties and switch hitters for Jake Arrieta, who he has been terrible against this season. The Indians, I have a lot of interest in them. We know Casey bullpen is terrible, and they're facing a really bad starting pitcher. Luplo, Marcando, Lindor, Ramirez are my 4 favorite plays. Still can't find myself paying $4,900 for Carlos Santana. But those other 4 guys I'm pretty high on. I think Toronto might be popular. I'll have a few interest in them, but we do have some really, really other good bats on the slate. But the Blue Jays make for nice fillers if you need some cheap guys, because Grichuk, Teoscar are both cheap. Gurriel is just so good. He deserves to be expensive. Guerrero's cheap at 37. And Smoke is cheap too. So they're a nice cheap stack with a lot of power against Zimmerman. And I like the Angels stack a lot. That's going to be the last team I'll kind of touch on. The Angels are one of my favorite stacks. It might be a little biased after what they did facing Leak last time and what they did for me financially, but it's hard not to like them. Trout, Upton is so cheap at 39. Simmons is cheap at 4K. Fletcher is cheap batting leadoff at 38. And I think those 4 are my favorites. And I don't mind playing like Pujols as part of a stack. But those 4, I think, and Ohtani too, who's not overly expensive. I think he's not even on here. It might be hurt or something. But Ohtani offers a ton of power at a $4,700 price tag. I think he's a fair play too. But that's what I got for you guys. Thanks for watching. You can drop a like if you enjoyed, and good luck today.